Hi everyone, this is Learning with Mr. Q. This video is part of a series on the grade 4 through 5 math FSA types of questions. Now keep in mind, we don't want to focus on the content here. The content really may not apply to your grade level. I'm just showing you the types of questions you might see. If you're a 4th or a 5th grader, this video will apply to you if you're taking the math Florida Standards Assessment. And so the next type of question you might see is the grid response. And so this video might be a little longer because there's a few different situations you might have a grid response. And so I want to walk you through each possible situation that you can be prepared to know how to answer them. So for a grid response, some of the items you're going to be required to write your answer in this response grid, which is this part right there. And you want to fill in the corresponding bubble. So if you put a number or a symbol in those boxes, you want to make sure that you bubble in the number or the symbol that's in that column. All right, so if you have a fraction, so let's say you get a question that's asking you to work with a fraction. In this case, we're adding 3/8 plus 4/8. Well, that equals 7/8. So I want to make sure that I write it in the grid response correctly to get credit. So just like you normally write or you read, you start from the left side and you work your way to the right. And so that's how we're going to do it. We just start all the way on the left. I write the number 7, then the fraction symbol, which is going from corner to corner. You don't want to go straight up and down because that'll look like a 1. And then the last one is the denominator, which is the 8. So I have 7/8. Now I want to go down each column and bubble it in. So I have the 7 for this column, the fraction symbol, which is right there, and the 8. Okay, so that's how you would bubble in an answer where you get a fraction that's less than 1. So let's try another one. So what if you get a question that's asking you to put the answer, which is in decimal form. So if you have a decimal and you're plugging it into the grid response, so it's saying write 4/10 in decimal form. So the first thing we have to do is put it into a decimal, which is 0.4. And so we just go ahead and start from left to right. So I start with the 0, then a decimal, and then a 4. And then I just go down each column and I identify or I bubble in the digit or the symbol. So I have a 0 for this column, a decimal right here, and then a 4. And then you leave the others alone. Okay, so let's try another one. So that was a decimal. The one before that was a fraction. This one right here is looking at, well, what if you get a question that you have a whole number? So I just need to find the difference. So I'm going to subtract these. And so I have 5. So 215. After subtracting it, you get 215. So we're going to plug that into our grid response, starting from the left-hand side, working your way to the right. I write 215, and then I go down each column and bubble it in. So that's 2, 1, and 5. So in this case, there's no symbols. And so you just go ahead and fill that in and just leave the rest alone. So let's try, I think there's just one more here. All right, so in this case, we have a mixed number. And so we can see we are going to find the sum. We're just adding 3 1/5 plus 2 2/5. So when I start by adding the fractions, 1/5 and 2/5 is 3/5. Then the whole number is 5. But I can't put that onto the grid response. I want to show you why. Look what happens. If I put 5 3/5, it actually looks like you've just written 53/5. Right? So you can't really tell, are you writing 5 3/5 or 53/5? So you never want to write a mixed number into a grid response. You want to change the mixed number. You want to change the mixed number into a fraction greater than 1. And so the fraction greater than 1 here is 28/5. And so now I can put 28/5 into my grid response, starting from left to right. So I put 28, then my fraction symbol, and then the 5, and then I just go down each column. So I have a 2, an 8, the fraction symbol, and then the number 5. And you want to make sure that you don't put any other markings in any other bubble, okay? So I hope that helps. Thank you so much for watching Learning with Mr. Q.